We're going to dive into something a little bit spiritual and a little bit that is on my heart lately. I was just asked to co-host a 28-day gratitude practice based on the book The Magic. Now, if you have not read this book, I highly, highly encourage it. It helps you basically create a gratitude practice over 28 days, and it goes deep into each category of your life. And it goes into things that to be grateful now that you have presently, as well as how to use gratitude to manifest what you want in the future. And the reason I'm sharing this with you today, because I actually have a lesson inside of my co-parenting program talking about being grateful for your ex. And I know this might get an eye roll out of you or be a little bit controversial, or you might want to punch me in the face. But it is something that I started to do many, many years ago when I was first introduced to this book, because there's one chapter in there, one day of gratitude practice, where you are meant to pick a relationship that is hard and express gratitude for that person. And what this does from a manifestation practice is the more you can be grateful for what you have now, the more things that will come into your life for you to be grateful for. And why not use manifestation and the power of gratitude in your co-parenting relationship and in your relationship with your ex? Because if you have the power to manifest a free meal, a nice house, or anything else in your life, you have the power to manifest really, really great relationships. And that comes with being intentional. And so often we can get into really good habits of gratitude in certain areas of our life. And that's usually where we are the most grateful. That is usually those areas that are going really smoothly and really well. And in the other areas where we are more focusing on what we don't want, those are the areas that we struggle with. So by going through something like the magic and a 28-day gratitude practice, it really brings you into the habit of focusing on areas of your life where you're not usually grateful, where things are feeling hard and sticky and clunky, and bringing gratitude in that so it can go smoother. So when I think about gratitude and co-parenting, I would encourage you to list out, let's start with 5 things each day for 30 days about your ex that you are thankful and grateful for. Now, this might be a stretch at first, and they might be really minuscule things at first, but I want you to really keep the long-term vision in mind for what you want to create. If you want to have a great co-parenting relationship, you need to start by being grateful for the great aspects that you already have now, because then you'll start to see more and more great things, and you'll create this snowball effect, and circumstances, situations, people, events will start to come into your life that helps support that co-parenting dynamic in the way that you want. Now, if you are not into manifestation, this actually is brain science as well. We have a part of our brain, I think it's called the reticular activating system, to be fancy. And that part of our brain is the part that will focus on things that we're already placing our focus on. So we often hear the example of the red car. So if we have just bought a red car, we are now seeing red cars everywhere, right? So it's this confirmation bias. Our brain is looking for evidence of what we believe and think is true. So it is collecting all of the red cars in that example. So if we are using this, if we are placing our focus on gratitude and the things that we want in our co-parenting relationship, our brain is actually going to start to pick up more and more and more and more things to be grateful for in our co-parenting relationship. But it works the opposite as well. So if we're always focusing on what's wrong, he's late again, he's not doing this, or this happened, and blah, 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 our brain's like, cool, we're searching for that. Let's go look for that. And it's going to pick up on more reasons to make you feel frustrated and helpless and defeated and complaining and all of those things. So we can actually use our brain and the laws of manifestation to our advantage to create a really awesome co-parenting dynamic. And yes, this is not going to happen overnight, but the more we get into the habit of retraining our brain to focus and retraining our vibration to manifest what we want, the easier it's going to get, and there will eventually be this snowball effect. So that's why I say, like, start with 5 each and every day, commit to doing this for the next 30 days and play with this. See if it makes a difference in your life, because I know from my perspective, it has made a difference. When I start focusing on the things that are going well, more things start to go well. Things just feel easier. So why wouldn't I use that? Now, I know why I wouldn't use that. Sometimes my ego, and you'll find this as well, puts up resistance. Like, I don't want to do that, or you don't know what he's like, or I don't really have much. Like, it's so hard right now. I can't possibly do this, or it's not fair. He's not grateful for me. And like the stories that start to play out in our head, the ego's resisting. Like, I don't want to change. I don't want to be the one to do this. Why do I have to do this? Like, why can't he just change? It'll make it easier for like, our egos tend to get in the way. So yes, you know what? Even me at times, I will default into like just sort of being a Debbie Downer sometimes, or like being super critical and focusing on the lack versus the abundance. But really, it's when we get to play in the abundance when things really start to happen in our lives, including our co-parenting relationship. So start to play with this. And what you will start to notice, if you can commit to this each and every day for the next 30 days, you will start to notice that you are feeling calmer. And do not underestimate or poo-poo this aspect. So even if nothing in your life changed, the fact that you can find more peace within yourself, you can relax more, like that is worth its weight in gold. You will also start to see things showing up in your life, in your co-parenting dynamic, more and more things to be grateful for. And if you keep doing this, you will actually start to see your co-parenting relationship change because you are showing up differently. You are not only looking and noticing things that you might not have noticed before, you are actually showing up as a different person in a different vibration, having different interactions with your ex. And magic happens when we start to become a better version of ourselves. So if you don't believe me, if you're still a skeptic at this point, if you are resistant, give it a try. Really, like this is your own internal exercise. You get to choose what you do, how you show up, and what you want to try. And really, from my perspective, yeah, your ego might just be a little bit annoyed with you and it might be uncomfortable and you might just have grumpy days of like, I don't want to do this. But if you can actually commit to showing up for yourself, because it is going to change your co-parenting dynamic, but it's also going to change you. It is also going to make you feel, like I said, more relaxed, more hopeful, more optimistic, more thankful, more grateful, and more abundant, and life gets easier. So commit to that. Commit to making your life easier and see what happens in your co-parenting dynamic. And if you start to go through this because of this podcast episode, send me a DM on Instagram and just let me know that you've started the gratitude practice, because I am here cheering you on every step of the way, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, happy co-parenting.